Welcome to Veranda IAS. In today's current affairs session in the subject International Relations, we will be dealing with the topic AUKUS grouping. So the learning objective of today's LU is to analyze the AUKUS, that is Australia, United Kingdom and United States grouping, to examine the AUKUS grouping which is in news, and to discuss the background of this grouping, and to explain the reason for formation of this group, and also to analyze AUKUS from India's own perspective. So let's move on and analyze about this AUKUS grouping. So as we see that it is an grouping of Australia, UK and US. So it is an acronym for Australia, United Kingdom and the United States, three allies that resolved to strengthen their security cooperation in the Indo-Pacific region. So why this Indo-Pacific region? Why this group is formed as of now? Because of the Chinese influence. Because of the increasing China's dominance over the South China Sea and the adjoining Indo-Pacific region. So because of that only this group was being formed now. So Australia's two partners intend to provide Australia with the cutting edge military technology, including future capabilities such as artificial intelligence and quantum technologies. So why this groups in news? In September 2021, the United States has established a new Indo-Pacific trilateral security relationship between Australia, the United Kingdom and the United States. So why before that we have a group called as AUKUS, so which is a grouping of Australia, New Zealand and the US. Now the New Zealand has been left out in this grouping and UK has been added. So that is why it is AUKUS. So the agreement's main highlight is to transfer US nuclear submarine technology to Australia. So nuclear technology, why nuclear technology is in news now? Why nuclear technology is being transferred to Australia? Because of this fleet of the massive fleet of China in this region. So as we see, the China, it had a submarine count of around 79, whereas the US, which is now considered China as its major opponent, it has only 68 submarines. The Russia, which is another superpower, it had only 64 nuclear power, and India, which is a dominant country in the Indo-Pacific region, it had only 70 nuclear submarines. So when considered to China, India, which is a major power player in this region, it has only 17 when compared to 79 submarines in this Indo-Pacific region. So because of that only, the US is thinking of strengthening some other countries' nuclear fleet, nuclear submarine fleet, so that the China can be countered. So that key was provided by Australia. So that is why the US and the UK is empowering Australia with this nuclear submarine technology for countering China in this region. So further, let's see about the background of this AUKUS grouping. For decades, the United States, the United Kingdom have an unique defense relationship. We all know that United States, these people were majorly from United Kingdom who are migrated hundreds of years before. So they usually share a cordial relationship because US got its independence from United Kingdom. Hence they share a mutual understanding for decades. Even in World War I, World War II, these two countries fight side by side. So the United States and United Kingdom fought with Australia as its ally during World War II. So in World War II, Australia too helped these two countries in fighting World War II. So before the World War II, what actually happened is that Australia was a major ally of this United Kingdom. In World War II, Japan, the country of an Asian country, it had made a significant progress and it started to conquering the Asian area. Even the Asian area, which is under the control of this United Kingdom, was swiftly captured by this Japan. So because of that, Australia feared the Japan invasion in Australia, and there is an incident called as bombing of Darwin happened in Australia. Which has happened in the year 1942 where the Japanese Air Force, it had bombed the fort of Australia, that is called as the bombing of Darwin. So because of that, after this incident, the Australia also shifted its focus on another country, which is another most powerful country of the world at the time, the United States. Hence, a new relationship between Australia and the United States started on that region, on that period. Further, the United States exchanged nuclear weapons technology with the United Kingdom following the latest nuclear weapons program merger with the American Manhattan Project in 1943. So what happened during the World War II, Manhattan Project was carried out and eventually nuclear weapon was discovered. So America, the United States, actually shared this technology with the UK, which is also an part of this Manhattan Project, which is happened in the year 1943. So further, let's see about the further reasons of formation of this group. China has a sizable and expanding underwater fleet, which includes nuclear powered and diesel electric assault submarines. We see such a massive fleet of China, 79 submarines. Hence, the entire Indo-Pacific Ocean region is like a lake for China with such a massive fleet. So China's naval might enables it to challenge the United States Pacific supremacy beyond the first island chain. So it is now challenging the United States, which has hold a monopoly-like condition in this Indo-Pacific region for all these years. Further, the United States that retains the world's most powerful military may be motivated to consider a strong military countermeasures against China. So that is why they are empowering Australia, because of the reason Australia is situated in this major strategic point. So it is a center point for both the South China Sea and also for the Indian Ocean region, but also for the Pacific region. So that is why the United States is now seeking the assistance of Australia in this context. So now let's discuss about this further reasons. So at the moment, the Quad organization lacks both the mission and competence to accomplish this. Economic alternatives are limited as China has already established itself as a worldwide economic giant. So what is Quad? It's a grouping between India, US, Australia and Japan. So it is seen as a grouping for countering China. So when we map all these countries, it will actually it will encompass the Chinese dominance regions. So that is why this region, this grouping is very much important. But now it lacks both the vision, because the Quad organization is still considered as an economic based organization rather than an military based organization. So that is why US is seeking a separate grouping for countering China in this context. Further, AUKUS, on the other hand, presents the United States with an option to deploy proxy submarine troops to contain China's excursions, particularly in the Pacific Ocean. So now let's discuss about the AUKUS from India's perspective. So there has been a grouping which has been formed to counter China. So why it is important for India? Let's see about that. So there has been considered concerns about this accord. So the agreement will almost certainly result in clustering of nuclear assault submarines, that is submersible ship nuclear SSNs, in the eastern Indian Ocean, reducing New Delhi's conventional underwater capacity and regional dominance. So India is considering itself as a major power in this region, in the Indian Ocean region. So if the Australian Navy got the power of nuclear submarines, then there will be an accumulation of nuclear submarines in the region. So which may be a threat to India itself, because now India is considering China as its opponent, but things may change. Even in the later years, Australia or US, it may turn against India. So international relationship is also about ups and downs. So it may happen. So in such cases, it will be a major threat to India. In such case, where such an large number of fleet, large number of nuclear submarines is accumulated in this Indian Ocean region. Further, there is a widespread belief in India that the New Delhi should seek France assistance with nuclear submarines. So another country which is left out in this grouping, not only India is left out in this grouping, but also another country, another important country is France. So it is a very good friendly nation of India. So France is also actually left out in this grouping. So we all know that France, US, UK, they share a very large number of friendship over all these years. They fought wars, world wars again, in the side by side. But now France too was left alone like India. So in such cases, France and India should cooperate with together so that their nuclear submarines, nuclear power can be increased. According to critics, Australia's nuclear submarine capability will likely overtake India's in the next year. So in next year, Australia, after acquiring this power, nuclear submarine power from this US and UK, it may overtake India in the next year, next following year, so that it will be a very good, it will be a very destructive thing for India in this thing. So further in this LU, we have discussed about this AUKUS grouping and why this grouping is in use, also the background of AUKUS grouping, and we have seen what are the reasons for the formation of AUKUS, and we have also seen AUKUS from India's own perspective. So that's all for today's LU, and have a nice day. Thank you.